Well, you can't write it any better. The 200th different winner in the NASCAR Cup Series comes today. Chase Briscoe holds off two other guys who've never won in the Cup Series before, Tyler Reddick and Ross Chastain, to score the victory in Phoenix. Congratulations, man. And congratulations to my buddy Jonathan. He's the guy that brought me to Loudon last year. He's a big Chase Briscoe fan. So to see that win happen, it's also a little ironic because when he took me to Loudon, we saw another Stewart-Haas Racing guy win. That, of course, being Aric Almirola. Unfortunately, his top 10 streak ended today, but still. So let's go ahead and let's jump into this. Opening things up. Well, before we get into it, obviously make sure to drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications so you don't miss out on future uploads. Make sure you use code ANJJ for free shipping on orders of $20 or more at Circuit Beat Diecast. And also make sure to use my link down below when making your random fantasy picks with Steve Lavender's random fantasy picks if you have Twitter. That said, let's get into the race itself. So Ryan Blaney gets the pole. Denny Hamlin starts on the front row with him. Kyle Larson had a power steering pump that needed to be replaced. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. had to swap, and his team had to swap out their engine in their car. And Harrison Burton would start at the back as well. All three of them at the back pretty much for unapproved adjustments. Harvick and Almirola make a little bit of contact early on. We get a competition caution at lap 25. Kyle Busch stalls out on pit road. He does get going but loses spots. And then Denny Hamlin, Ryan Blaney, Michael McDowell, and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. all get bopped for speeding. BJ McLeod reports that he feels like something's wrong in the back of his car, as if like one wheel is driving and the other isn't. Blaney was 0.1 mile per hour over coming off pit road. Kyle Busch and Austin Dillon make contact off the corner as we get going again. And Austin Dillon made a little bit of contact with the wall. Busch is told he doesn't have any damage. And then we get a caution that comes out for Corey LaJoie. He smacks the wall off turn 2. And pretty much just breaks the right front wheel. The tire comes completely off. And LaJoie is able to make it to pit road, basically riding it on the brakes of the right front. But he is able to make it to pit road, take it to the garage. Unfortunately, his day is done. And then Cody Ware hit the tire carcass after the fact, so there's that. But a tough break for Corey LaJoie and a big hit for him. And Kyle Busch would report here that the toe was knocked out of his car. Ross Chastain almost gets into Harrison Burton in the pits during this caution, and in the end, William Byron would take the stage 1 victory. Chase Briscoe second, Chase Elliott third, Tyler Reddick fourth, Alex Bowman fifth, Christopher Bell sixth, Kyle Larson seventh, Kevin Harvick eighth, Joey Logano ninth, and Austin Dillon 10th. Bell's team had issues on pit road, and then we get going again. A lot of the race was green flag racing for the most part. And at one point in stage 2, Rodney Childers tells Kevin Harvick over the radio that William Byron had smoke in his cockpit. Byron would report it about a lap or so later. That ended up going away. We never heard anything about that again after the fact. Harrison Burton would scrub the wall. Later reports that he needs to pit soon because he was having all sorts of issues. And luckily, he would get a bit of get a bit of a break because a caution would come out not long after for Christopher Bell. He spins off turn 2 after having a right rear tire go out, almost collects Kurt Busch in the process, but doesn't hit the wall. And Brad Keselowski says that he was chattering on the right front tire. So everybody pits, or pretty much everybody pits, of course. Denny Hamlin's team reports that they're having an issue with the fuel probe. He was told they would have enough to get to the end of the stage at that point, but that they'd be running close on fuel to that point. Truex Jr. would report his tire chattering at some point. Chastain would report brake shake. Damn, I cannot say that. Aric Almirola brushes the wall late in the stage, and Ryan Blaney takes the stage 2 victory. Chase Elliott second, Kevin Harvick third, William Byron fourth, Kyle Larson fifth, Tyler Reddick sixth, Ross Chastain seventh, Chase Briscoe eighth, Austin Dillon ninth, and Joey Logano in 10th. We get the restart for stage 3. Tyler Reddick battling up front with I believe Chase Elliott at the time, and Reddick would report that he believed he had a left rear tire going down. The team tells him it looks good, no issues. So a lot of stage 3 ran green, And then probably right about when we were going to start getting green flag stops, Martin Truex Jr. brings out the next caution, blows the right front tire, smacks the wall. His day is done. Daniel Suarez gets bopped for speeding. Harvick reports to his team that he feels something wrong with the tires that he had beforehand. His team agrees. And then we get going again. And Larson would end up having engine issues. Had to come down pit road a few laps after he reported them. Bubba Wallace came down pit road around the same time for tires on an unscheduled pit stop. And then Larson's day would unfortunately be done with a broken valve spring. Ty Dillon would slap the wall at one point. Ryan Blaney would report his steering wheel was shaking. And then under 30 laps to go, caution comes out for Eric Jones. His right front tire is down, also damaged the splitter. They were able to get the car fixed to keep him going. He got loose off turn 2 and couldn't get it back together before hitting the wall. And Kyle Busch gets bopped for speeding. Almirola and Denny Hamlin make some contact. We get the race going again. And at this point, it was pretty much, okay, who the fuck's going to win this thing? Because obviously with the backstretch that used to be the backstretch for Phoenix being the front stretch, you can go into turn 1 all kinds of wide, and whoever comes out first is the leader as long as nobody wrecks. And in the end, you had, guys like Briscoe, Chastain, and Reddick up there. Kevin Harvick was in the top 5 for a large portion of this race, which is something we really haven't seen out of him in a while, which was nice to see. And it was Briscoe pretty much leading for a large portion of the remainder of the race. He had to fight off Chase Elliott at one point, and then he had to fight off Reddick and Chastain. We get a caution with under 10 laps to go. Speaking of Chase Elliott, he brings out the caution, spinning off turn 2. Doesn't get any damage. We get the restart with about 5 or so laps to go. Briscoe holds on to the lead despite Ross Chastain and Ty Reddick's challenge. Briscoe would take the white flag, and while Reddick and Chastain battle for second behind him, Chase Briscoe wins in Phoenix, his first Cup Series victory, becoming the 200th different winner in the Cup Series, as mentioned before. And Austin Dillon would end up against the wall in turns 3 and 4. What happened there was Suarez going into turn 3, or on the backstretch, was blocking Kyle Busch. Going into turn 3, he ended up sliding up and got in Austin Dillon and turned him, unfortunately. But with that being said, massive congratulations to Chase Briscoe on scoring the victory. This is huge for him. But we've had 2 different winners so far this year. Cindric obviously winning the 500, which Briscoe was near the front for, and now Briscoe winning at Phoenix. This probably is not going to be the end of getting new winners. Obviously, next week is Atlanta, the reconfigured Atlanta, Super Speedway Atlanta, quote unquote. So it's going to be interesting to see how that race plays out. But more importantly, what today has shown and what the first few races have shown, Reddick's legit. We knew he was, but he looks that much closer to potentially getting his first career win. And it's going to happen this year. It's absolutely going to happen this year, I feel like. And Chastain, too. He showed some flashes last year, and this is probably the best race he's had out of the 4. Him battling up there. Legitimately, I thought it was either going to be Reddick, Chastain, or Briscoe. And if Chastain managed to get past Briscoe after the restart, that would have been insane to see him steal the win. But regardless, Reddick and Chastain are absolutely going to get their first career wins this year. At least Reddick will. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see other guys kind of like Suarez and whatnot really, really challenge. I mean, hell, Bubba Wallace was down a lap for a lot of the race after getting lapped late in stage 1 because, Blaney and Byron were doing so well early on. But he was running really good lap times. And I feel like if they can get that car, together, if they can work out some of the kinks, I really feel like, he'll be able to contend better. I mean, Kurt Busch managed to sneak out a freaking top 5 or top 10 or whatever today, out of nowhere. So absolutely that team can get it done. We're probably going to have a lot of new winners this year, and we've already got 2 of them. So And the thing is, I don't think Cindric and Briscoe are done winning. I call me crazy, but I feel like both of them might not be done winning. They might each at least get one more win this year. I feel it. But we'll have to see what happens. That being said, thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. Congratulations once again to Chase Briscoe on the win. Make sure to use code ANJJ for free shipping on orders of $20 or more at Circuit Diecast. Make sure to use the link down below in the description for Siegel Vendors Random Fantasy Picks if you have Twitter. And I will catch you all next time. Peace.